You're listening to the OK Dad podcast.
Please leave your message for
Daddy-o.
Hi, Daddy-o.
Okay, Dad podcast. Let's start this thing.
Can you not put that on YouTube?
You're listening to my husband talk a lot.
So you were episode 1
Yep.
that I had that we recorded, other than my teaser and call outs and stuff. First person I interviewed, circling back, because I didn't even, that episode is audio only. We don't even have a video on it. So I put that one up. I haven't put that one up on YouTube, but YouTube's been getting a lot of views on it separately too. So we can circle back for that information, dude.
Okay,
so growing up, when did we first meet?
Kazan.
Kazan,
So
right?
I guess I got there in 6th grade. You were already 7th or
7th grade, yeah. So how old are you? How old were you in middle school then?
14 or 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, 15
So-
years ago.
At that time, you had Gino, your brother, and you have your sisters at that time?
Yeah, I want to say they were really young.
Super young, right?
Yeah.
Dude. So are you a middle, there's 4 of y'all?
Yeah, it's 4 of us.
4 of y'all.
I'm the second oldest.
Middle childish.
Yep. Dang, dude. Pretty crazy.
I'm 1 out of 2. So it's just me and then my sister and then me. But man, growing up, we grew up on the south side of the town,
Yeah.
south side of San Antonio. So not the greatest place to grow up, but not the worst place to grow up.
Right in
which
the middle.
I think there's a lot of people. I know. Well, you remember that coach that always used to wear sunglasses?
I think so.
He was really brown.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
I think I remember.
And then that other coach. What was the other coach? The big, super swole guy.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Aaron.
Staring.
Dude, Staring. So that guy tried out for the Miami Dolphins, and he didn't make it, but he had a Miami Dolphins tattoo on his. That's how I remember him. But I remember both of them talking one time about how the South Side's Coach Staring was the South Side's a terrible place, verbatim terrible place. He hates it, blah blah. And then Coach Valdez or whoever it was like, nah, this is the best place to be. Prices are low. There's not a lot of crime here. Blah blah blah. Which I mean, that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
I never thought anything about it because we never really ventured out though. So I talked to somebody else at Carvana. You remember Jonathan, right? Alonso. He used to be the territory manager.
Yes, I think.
Well, now he's
better
things. Yeah, Jonathan Alonso.
Yeah.
He's came to San Antonio a couple times. Well, I was talking to him too, and he's grown up in California, kind of same situations we talked about. We're talking about meals growing up, and I'm we weren't for me, we weren't poor, or if we were, I didn't really know. But meals that my grandmother would make, I thought it was just a thing that everybody would do. Is she would put oil in a pan, then she would put flour, then she would put tomato sauce, and then she would just be from her tortillas that she's been making all morning. That's what I would get, and that would be my dinner. Or my lunch while she was watching me because we didn't have daycare and stuff. Do you have meals like that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. When we buy this big thing, my mom would buy this big thing of goat cheese. And that thing would last us all week.
Yeah.
So she would make, out of that goat cheese, she'd make 3 different dishes. So she would, it wouldn't melt all the way, but it would get soft. So where you're kind of eating cheese and throw some onions in there, hot sauce. So you can eat it like that. Or we get some beans and then you could just have it cold, but cut slices of it and then put it in your tacos.
How big is it?
The thing of goat cheese was that big. And it's white.
It's a pound? 2 pounds?
Probably not even a pound.
Okay.
And then, out of that, she would make rice, beans, goat cheese,
Dang.
Almost melted, or rice, beans, goat cheese in your beans, goat cheese taco.
Yeah. Everything was tacos with my grandma.
Yeah.
With my mom, looking back at it too, we would just get hamburger meat, potatoes, and fideo.
Yeah, lots of fideo.
6 days out of the week, that's what we'd be getting, or conchas.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, love me some conchas. Mexican rice.
Yeah. And like
Man.
eating those meals today, it really takes you back to those younger days where you just think like, damn, like this is still good. Like,
Yeah, like I just want that.
It
Yeah.
still holds up.
I went to my grandma's house last week, and I dropped off my son with them for the weekend. For my mom, she was meeting us there, and I dropped off Asher, and I'm there talking to them. And I'm still. We started keto again, so like I'm eating keto for going on a week when I went over there. And she's like, "You want to eat? Like your mom's bringing some B&B tamales," and I was like, "No, I'm good." And she's like, "B&B tamales," and I was like, "No, I'm okay, Grandma. Like, thank you."
Yeah.
And you know, if you turn down food or whatever, like they take it as an insult.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
it's really bad. I'm like, I can't. And then so she starts saying like, "Well, your grandpa made some bacon, and then we've already made some eggs." And I'm like, I can eat bacon and eggs. So I'm like, all right. But they didn't make enough because they didn't think I was staying. So I'm like, she's like, here, try bacon. I was like, I'll try bacon. And then like when I bit into it, like it brought me back when I was a kid because I lived on the south side, but I didn't live close to South San. So every time I got picked up from school, I would go to my grandparents' house and I would wait until my mom gets out of work. So like every time I did leave school, like I'd just be waiting for my mom, and then my grandparents would cook food for me. And if I wasn't there, I was at my other grandparents' house who lived in what is that place? There's a dance hall somewhere right next to Bill Miller's.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? What's the name of it? Hollywood? No. Famous?
It's something like that. So.
Yeah, there was like we've been to like a couple quintas and stuff there. But the mobile home park backed up right up against it. Like her back gate goes into the parking lot there.
Oh wow.
And that's where she lived. It was only like eight mobile home parks. And so that's the other place that I would go to, dude. I started doing a series on her.
Yeah.
Like on me growing up and people in my life, I started writing. And then
I really like the one where you talk about your grandpa.
That's
That
it,
was
yeah.
really cool, yeah.
That's the one I'm doing. I'm trying to like separate and do like pieces of my family. So when I have time for it. But yeah, that one brought me back too, dude. She's a tough. She's still going. I think she's like 98 or 99.
Holy shnikes.
When she stopped driving, she gave me that Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
The Jeep Cherokee that we used to cruise around in. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The parties we would go to in that thing, dude. Whoa.
Jeep stories.
I know, man. Jeep Memories, episode 27.
Episode 27.
But from right down that neighborhood, what is it, Northwest? No, it's Military. And, gosh, I want to know the name of it. It's right, well,
I pass it
apparently,
by every day. So.
yeah, Military and like, well, Wells Fargo's at, like, in between there, right? So from there, she would walk to, you know where South San's at, and that, the hospital right there.
Yeah.
Across the street, there's an old folks home there, and that's where my grandpa was at because he had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And so when she stopped driving, she gave me the Jeep, but she still lived there by herself. So she would walk.
Dang.
And this is only like 2009, so this is only like 10, 11 years ago. So she was only like 88, 89. So she would walk from her house, from her mobile home on Military, all the way over there.
Dang.
And it would take her like 3 hours because she's old.
Yeah.
So she would walk, stop, like rest, walk some more, and rest because like nobody else had time to like take her. And she's not like a proud, like, oh, like I'm too good for that. Like she'll take a ride and stuff, but like she doesn't want to bother anybody. So she would go, and like that's something that stayed with me. But like love, like doing something like that, and that was her third husband, I think. So like, man,
wow,
the dedication. How are you and Erica?
We're good. We've been talking about marriage more often, so we really want to try and figure out what we want to do.
How long have y'all been together?
14 years. Yeah.
Is she gonna propose to you or?
I don't know. We gave each other rings, so I get this one because I'm always messy, and I've never really worn anything like expensive. You know what I mean? Like I don't even wear earrings or anything like that. So I'm always afraid, like if I have something like I'll lose it.
Yeah.
So this like what do you call it? Like polyester, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's our It's engraved. It says 5707. That's when we first got together. It's all saying. It's pretty cool.
So, you think you're going to stay with her for the rest of your life?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You think she's going to stay with you for the rest of her life?
I hope so.
And now pronounce you. Like, how did y'all first meet?
Well, like, going back, we didn't ever really talk like in elementary school.
Yeah, but you knew of each other?
We went to Hutchins together and Kazan, which is our middle school together, but we didn't really start talking until high school.
Dang.
I had her for history.
In high school?
Yeah, she transferred into, what's his name? He had like leukemia or something.
Ooh.
Mr.
Chavez?
No, I want to say...
Mr. Chavez passed away too, dude.
Bro?
That's what's also happened. Did you have him?
Nuh-uh. I never had all the teachers that like everybody...
Yeah. Yeah.
like Cavazos or anything like that. I don't know.
It's probably good.
As Mr. I think it started with L. Well, anyway, she transferred in our class, and I was just like, well, like I don't know, it was like something in me was just like,
Yeah.
like wow, like
When you saw her?
yeah.
Or when like she was like talking and doing
No,
stuff?
like when she just came in,
Yeah.
I was like, I got to bug her or something.
It was like that movie moment.
Yeah, it was weird. But
Yeah.
the thing was, I was with someone else at the time.
Oh.
So
Ooh.
yeah, I didn't want to like
Yeah.
be that guy. That was like,
Yeah. Not that guy, pal. Not that guy.
So I had to break up with my ex
Yeah.
during lunch, and like a couple of days, like it was just I had to go for it.
Yeah. She ended up. She have? Because I know you have a lot of interest in like theater arts, performing, and like comic stuff. To like even man, I didn't even introduce you like I usually try to do. So Christian Escamilla. So like. I would consider you a comic. You do a lot of like improv stuff too with the theater and then locally too in the community as well. I would consider you an entrepreneur with your podcast, stuff like that too. I would consider you like a leader, family man, because although y'all don't have kids, like in my mind, the way I feel, like you do a lot for your family that I know of. You know what I mean? You like
have a lot of fun being an uncle too.
Yeah.
That's pretty
cool. Man, dude.
It's pretty cool.
How many?
My sister Mel, she has two. She has Melanie, which is just turned 3, and then Magnolia is 7 months. So it's been fun, just getting to spoil them and playing hide and seek and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I there's people that are like everybody needs kids, and there's people that are like, no, I'd never want kids, and I'm like, I don't think it has to be one way or the other, because like although you're not a father, you still have kids that are in your life, and that's something I tell too. Like if there's no like wrong answer, like if you say like, hey, like baby daddy's bad news, you don't want to be around him or whatever, like that's fine, but he still needs like a father figure. And although I'm not saying like moms can't do it themselves, they definitely can. They're out there doing it now as we speak. But like a grandfather's in there, an uncle, like those key male figures come in too and like help out a child as well too. Because although, and I'm talking like specifically for boys too, well, I guess even girls, but when they see the way that a male acts and it's a family member, that tells them like this is how I should be acting. You know what I mean? So if you're just raised by even just a dad, like if you're just raised by only just a dad, you know, okay, that's how like a man should act. But then if you don't have a mother and then all you are getting are like trash female roles, like then that tells the child like that's how females act, even though they don't have a good female role figure. And then I think it goes the same way with male figures. So like, I think that's big, dude. When you do that,
yeah, it's fun.
You can spoil them too, and all that.
Not a lot, like more like just like when she brings out her toys or she wants to do like comb my hair or anything like that. Like I just go for it, like
Yeah,
I don't even hesitate. Like no, just
let her. Or she
more like that. Like
paint your nails yet, or no?
She hasn't painted my nails.
Hold up.
But she'll put like hats on me and like
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not necessarily like in the money sense or getting them toys, more like in just jumping in on whatever.
Well, even that, dude. People,
whatever, like, what they want to play, I'm down.
Some people just spend money but don't spend time. Yeah. Well, so Erica, was she interested in drama? or
She did a lot of like tech stuff early on.
like techie stuff?
Yeah, like sound.
That's what I had Cindy in here doing like 30 minutes before you got here. We were trying to hook up both mics
Oh,
so we
cool.
can get, but she's like, "What are we doing?" I got like video of her just like messing with everything, like testing out the mics and stuff. She never did like on stage stuff.
She did. She did. She was in plays like closer to the end of her high school time. She was a cow for one of the plays. Was awesome.
Did you push her into it, or she just want to be into it?
No, I think she auditioned. I mean, I was in the theater anyway. We would hang out a lot like that too. So that was always fun.
So, in high school, did y'all hang out like during school, or were y'all able to hang out after school as well too?
Usually like on the weekend, we go like to a movie or something. Of course, we get dropped off by her grandpa or something like that. So.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it'd be during practice or.
When y'all hang out?
Yeah, we'd have I think a morning period together where you just relax or do homework.
Yeah. Did y'all try to sync up your schedules when
we
y'all did?
I remember Alta College, she was always edging me to like, I would sleep in there because I would work it, you know.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Come on, Chris, you gotta do something." I was like, "Man, I'm tired."
I know.
And everyone else is like doing homework or whatever.
Man, she's a good.
Yeah,
she's a
she's
good
awesome.
soul. She won Teacher of the Year.
Yeah.
And
And
then
she finally retired.
Yeah, I think this past year she retired. But she had the best classroom at South San too. Like, man, I think who got it now? She just got it. I think Diana just got it. Dan Gonzalez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you have her in
I
case?
think I did.
That was a push for me. I think that's one of the things that's been on my mind
Yeah.
is like, and I don't even know how to phrase it, but like I have it just on my notes. Like, is college worth it?
Oh.
Like, there's so many factors that go into it, but one of the pushes for college, I remember Miss Gonzalez talking to us, and like, I don't know, it was like week 1 or 2. I don't know. Maybe it was just within the school year, but she was like, if you're gonna go to college, go out of state, so you're away from your family, like, so you can learn how to live. And she's like listing off stuff, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, okay, although I didn't like how much it costs. I didn't go out of state, but I went to Austin for a year, and you went to A&M, right?
I went there for like a year and a half.
Is that it?
Gig 'em. Howdy, y'all.
What'd you do up there?
I was just studying theater.
Yeah.
It was interesting, you know. I lived in the dorm. I got the whole dorm room, roommate experience. Had to learn how to like budget and like Andrew went too, so we would meet up every now and then.
Yeah.
Funny story we saw. He got tickets to go see Stephen Hawking talk.
What?
Yeah.
In Austin? In College Station?
Yeah, and we went to go see him, right? I felt so bad I fell asleep like so many times.
Oh my gosh.
He was talking about like astrophysics and like stuff that like, but it was cool, like
Just
just
way
getting
over
to,
here.
like be there and see him, like that was pretty awesome. But
Man.
yeah, Andrew's like, I got tickets to go see Stephen Hawking. I was like, you want to go? I was like, yeah, I want to go. It's funny because everything's like right there. There's like the downtown is there, the school is there, so you don't have to walk that far to everything.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was a good experience just to like living on your own, meeting new people. There's one whole like debate of like, oh, they're not going to let international students like from other countries pay in-state tuition. So I remember there was like people like doing hunger strikes, like in the middle.
So
of
what
the
did they have
school.
to pay? Like, what kind
They
of
had to
rate?
pay out-of-state tuition. So like instead of like every Texan had like paid like half of what these people were like paying, and it was kind of the thing that like is like, man, why go here? Like, you know,
Yeah.
if it's gonna cost me more money, like,
Yeah.
so that kind of turned me off to it. But the whole culture there's pretty cool. Football games are amazing.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I was there, and then it just got too expensive. Like my whole first year was paid for. Then I was finally like, well, each year's almost like $20,000. So it's kind of like, I gotta go. You know,
How'd you get the first year paid for?
scholarships.
Did you try to get like more scholarships, or were you just ready to just bounce after that?
I just didn't know where to look. I know I got some like theater stuff. A really cool one is I got like $1,000 for some little like monologue competition that Miss Gable drove me to. So
Oh,
that was pretty cool.
shout out Miss Gable,
Yeah,
dude.
shout out Miss Gable. She's awesome. Other than that, it was just the school gave me money to Texas A&M to just go there.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was cool. We eat a lot of Taco Bell together, me and Andrew.
yeah.
Just
the place to
ramen, you know, all the college food.
My places were Pluckers where I would spend my money on, or I had just had bread and Vienna sausages.
Yeah.
Like that's why I don't like eating Vienna sausages anymore, dude. I can't. Like
How did
I was
you-
only there for a year, and yeah, dude. Like I'm done after that, man. Man. So where was Erica?
She was at St. Edward's in Austin. And she
Okay.
did all her 4 years there and graduated.
Yeah. What did she graduate with?
Bachelor's of Literature.
Okay.
She loves like reading.
So Miss Altakali?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Man.
And I would go visit her.
Yeah.
Jump on the Greyhound. Took a couple hours to get there and stay there for a little bit. Come back.
How much is the bus ticket, Jason?
Like $80
$80 for what? Like
for
230 miles.
2-way. Yeah,
Man.
it's crazy.
Well, I feel like going back to like, is college worth it? I've never been a proponent of college. As weird as that sounds. Like I've never. The only reason I wanted to go was, I wouldn't even call it a deal, but
Yeah.
so I went 1 year at Austin, and I wasn't mature enough to go and
Yeah.
complete. Like I more than likely it's because I followed a girl there, so I didn't really need to. I was undeclared for like the longest time, so I'm like I don't even know what I want to do. I remember taking what was it? I took some math courses, right? And because I was in calculus my senior year, and Mr. Hinojosa, the way he grades was very like based on effort rather than like
To get it right on.
yeah. Which like okay, cool, but then that ended up getting you into like other courses that you may or may not have, or if you took the AP test. So I ended up taking. What was it? Gosh, I know it wasn't pre-calculus. I think it might have just been geometry or something. Well, the first semester, whatever math course, I passed it, right? And I passed it with, I think, like a C. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And then the next course, the next semester, I got, I think it was pre-calculus. And like the first test, dude, I studied like maybe 8 hours into it. And then I take the test and I got a 60. And like he didn't curve it. And I was like, that after that first test in that first week, I was like, nope, that's it. I'm dropping this class. Like, I'm getting another one. So like I dropped that class and I was done with that one. But yeah, I was thinking about doing math because statistics is pretty easy when I went into statistics. And I might have been more mature because I did it at A&M. But it was way more enjoyable. I grasped it a lot better than pre-calculus at UT Austin. That one I was like, nah, I'm done, man.
Yeah, I remember I had one math class and it was pretty tough. And then there was that blood drive like right next door. I was like, I'm just gonna go get blood.
You just dipped out of it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you think college is worth it? Like today?
Today, I think if you have like the help, like people like help you fund your way there, because the worst part is you're trying to study, pass these classes, but also in the back of your mind is like, how am I going to pay for food or, where I'm staying at.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because then even when you get out, like it depends too. Like what are you doing with your degree?
yeah.
Like, do you remember when you were 18 what you were most passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
Could you whatever you were most passionate about? Could you make a living wage on that? Like right now at this moment, like if you just walked out and started doing that?
Probably not.
Same here, man. Like same here. Like there's no like if I could like we went up and saw some shows in I think it was Cincinnati. And like we loved the city there, and we saw some shows, and I'm like, man, it made me really want to just go and like. There's gonna be people that are way more experienced, but I was like, what if I just like tried out for like a local community theater and just like did a small role like in my spare time? And Vinny's like, I don't know if you can do that. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, she's like, you probably can, but she's like, I just don't know where the time would be. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And you're out of frame, man. Scoot that chair up closer. There you go. You scoot that mic close too. There you go. Don't look at that. Look at me. I'm your podcast now.
You're my podcast husband? Is that what you said?
Said I'm your podcast now.
Oh, okay. Mind friend?
No, so I was thinking about it because the guy that up there was they're like all ages, right? Because you got older guys actually playing older roles, not just like the oldest looking guy in high school player, the tallest person.
That guy with the beard.
Yeah, this is all grayed out. So, like seeing that, it like got me into it. When like seeing a local theater put on the local shows, like, dude, this is what's up. Like this really gets me passionate and stuff. And then it just like went into dismember it because you gotta like put food on the table. You gotta do what you enjoy. You gotta spend time with your family. Like all that comes first. To me, it's like God, family, friends, boom, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can't move. Everything else would have to like bump up. So that's not gonna happen. So just whatever with it. But I mean, I probably would have studied theater if I could. At the time, I didn't know what would make me money, and then even then, if it's gonna make you money, like, do you want to go that hard with it too? And then what if you don't like it? Like that's what always held me back, being so young. So when I was ready, I was like, well, I always wanted to do 4 years in the Army, so
let's get it.
let's do it now. So after that first year is when I dipped, man, and I probably should have finished a degree and then went into the Army, but whatever. 4 years, like. I don't remember how much I've made in those 4 years, a long time ago, but it does add up. But
do you remember going into like the recruitment thing and like saying, "Hey, I'm"?
Yeah. Like when I looked at him, I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna join the military, I'm gonna join the best thing. I'm gonna join the Marines. I went to the Marines. They're like, "Hey, you're too fat, man. You gotta lose some weight." I was like, "Yeah, but I need to go like after the school year because I'm not gonna live back with my parents." When I left their house, I told myself like, I'm not. I don't want to put my burden on them financially, like how much I cost, like food, housing, clothing. So like I need to do this on my own. So they're like, yeah, you're too fat, man. You gotta get out of here. And I'm like, all right, cool. So then I went to the Army office right across the hall, and they're like, yeah, we get you in. And I was like, all right, what you got? And when I took the test, they have it's called an ASVAB. And you take the ASVAB, and whatever you score on that, your GT score allows you to pick a job.
That's cool.
And so I always joke about it. If you get 110 on the and it goes up to like further than that, but if you get 110 GT score, that's the maximum that any job in the Army allows you to get. So if you get 110, basically any job that's available and open, you can pick. If there's no slots for it, you can't pick it. And my score was 110.
Wow.
And I was like, dang. So it opened up like everything. And I'm looking at it and they're like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And at the time, I'm like, I don't want to do infantry because when I get out, I want to be able to take whatever skills I learned and like go to a job. Nothing on there was interesting at all. So I'm like, the only thing that kind of interests me is the communication piece. There's a radio operator, which you just mess with radios, but you're attached to the infantry team. So I'm like, cool. That sounds cool. I want to do that. So that's what I did, and I got to go to an airborne unit. I went to airborne school. I think I had my wings somewhere up. Bam. So I went to airborne school, stayed with the unit, and then, at the time I was thinking maybe I should make it a career or not, move back to San Antonio. And they didn't have any slots here. I already bought the house. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get out. I'm going to go in the reserves, join the reserves. do 6 more years, and then boom, I just got out, man.
For real?
Like for real, out. So like I'm done, man.
Wow, that's cool, man.
I got my orders 10, 11 years. I'm done.
Awesome.
I'm done. I'm not going back.
Yeah, I remember you every couple weeks or like every other month you'd leave for like a little bit, right?
Yeah. And then once a year we'd go just different places. We have orders. We go to like one of the fun ones that I went to is we did I don't even know what you would call it, like mounted driver gunnery training or something.
That sounds bad.
So like I had a lieutenant on my team, and then I had another. I think I had an E5 with me. It was 2 E5s. So I was a sergeant. He was a sergeant, and then we had an LT with us. And so they would alternate shooting like a 50 cal while I'm driving as we're going. We're going through the
Twisted metal.
Yeah, it was legit, man.
Yeah.
And we have like our ear pro on, and then we're doing it at night too. So we're doing it under like no lights with night vision, driving in an up armored Humvee, like in Wisconsin. So there's like snow on the ground, dude. It felt like you're playing like virtual reality on like a PlayStation 1, like first person shooter. You can't see anything. Everything's all green. And then so like he's shouting like where this guy needs to look at, and I'm like, I need to make sure I'm staying on the road because they built it to where it's a perfectly good road, but also like there's some ditches some places too. And it's funny, they're like, if there's wildlife out there, so if there's a deer, like don't shoot it, because somebody last week started shooting at it with like a 50 cal, and they're like, don't be shooting at the deers. And we're like, all right, cool. But the nighttime is hard to see anything, so like we're like, dude, don't shoot at the deers because we want to get a good score. And I'm competitive, so luckily the 2 guys that were with me were competitive too, and they're like, what do you need to like get the like high score on this? And they're telling us like, this is what you need to get like gold and everything essentially. And when we finally tested out of it, we maxed out on everything. We got expert because it's a marksman, sharpshooter, expert. I guess they do it the same way. We got expert at it, and then when we left after 2 weeks, we got an award for it too. I'm like, that's what's up, man. Like, I like doing stuff when people are like ready to work. But getting out of the Army, there was no jobs for radio communication. I got out and like I looked, I applied 40 places, and none of them. Like I'd get a call back, I'd do interviews, and nothing. And I went to like a second or third interview with AT&T because it was communication. The guy who interviewed me was Marines, and then they still didn't take me. And I was like, what?
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ooh.
I think if you're going to a school, it should be a trade school at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, because those are like some valuable skills. I would, if I had the time, I would take like a month off and just go to like HVAC school because that's something I've always wanted to do. Like I can HVAC.
Oh, HVAC.
Like yeah.
Heating air conditioning.
Yeah. So, like, can you do plumbing?
I've learned a couple things from my dad.
Right. So I'm the same way.
But I mean, like, if it's like a big thing, I probably wouldn't.
Well, like if like a line, like a sprinkler head's like broken, like you think you'd be able to
just shut off the main and then try and fix it.
Yeah, so people don't even know that there's a shut off to the main. Like, man. So at work, we have pressure washer guns, and where we're at, I don't even know if we should call them kids, but anywhere between 18 to 24 is usually the range of what our lot attendants start at. And I'll go up and use pressure washer guns every so often to just see how they're doing. And when I go up and I do the pressure washer and it starts blasting back at me or it starts shooting up where the tip's at, to me, I'm like, all right, it needs one of those, what are they, the washers? The
little rubber.
So it needs one of those. It needs a new washer, or it needs like the plumber's tape. So I tell them that, I'm like, hey, dude, like get the plumber's tape, put it on there. They're like, what? And then that's when I knew I'm old, dude. I'm like, all right, like if people don't know how to do this, like how should we start treating them? Should we treat them as like they don't know anything, or like is this a good learning opportunity? And then when you go to do it, like they don't even want to know how to do it. Yeah. They don't even care to learn.
They'd rather deal with it getting them all wet than try to fix it.
Yeah. And that's something that I don't understand. Because, like, with me, if I'm working, I want to work the easiest way I can. So if I'm not getting all wet and I got to do this for 7 more hours, like, why am I going to get all dusty and dirty, you know?
Yeah.
So dealing with that, I think, is pretty abnormal in my mind because where I'm from growing up, and like not area-wise, but like just the way my dad was with me, like if it's supposed to work like this, it's supposed to work like this. Like I'm of the mindset to where I don't want to work on a job or I don't want to work on a task unless the tools that I have are working right. They don't have to be the best tools in the world, but they just have to do what they're supposed to do. Like if a saw is gonna cut, like I need the saw to cut. If it's a DeWalt saw, if it's a Craftsman saw, if it's a Ryobi saw, if it's gonna cut, it cuts. I don't need like a Makita.
Yeah.
I don't need to spend that amount of money. It's the same thing at work. When you get a pressure washer gun, it doesn't work. Like, can we fix it? Because I know we got the parts.
Yeah.
And I think stuff like that is where we have a lot of people too, where we're giving them college degrees. They're going to work for college degrees, but something like that minor where you're twisting something off, putting some plumber's tape around it, and then turning it back in just so no more leaks come out. But we don't know how to do that. It's where it's, to me, I'm like, where are we going with this? Like, because this isn't just here. This is everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. What do you think? Trade school, college, or none?
I think you definitely need trade, like something that'll make you money, because you can do what you're passionate about when you're like financially secure. Like even if it's like a weekend thing, you know, if you're definitely gonna go like for something like, I mean, you gotta make money. You don't want to, you know, be struggling so hard.
Yeah.
So like if I could do things over again, I would do like some sort of electric type thing. Maybe learn like how to put like solar panels on or something like that. Something like that. And
You know Carla, right?
Yeah.
Carla knows like a lot of like electrical stuff. She can like wire an outlet, and I was like, Carla, you gotta show me how to wire an outlet. Like I don't even know how to do that. Like I want to parallel one, like make it high up. She's like, I'll show you. And like I know it's that like to her it's that easy because it's that easy for me to like replace something. But that's dude, electrical.
Because then you could fund whatever you want. You know what I mean? You could like fund that time to like go take a theater class, or maybe find a gig that pays the theater, or make your own thing that people can support. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely think you need skills, even if it's just how to jump a car. Like people like they call AAA and they're spending like hundreds of dollars on how to change a tire. You know, when you can just do it yourself and get out of there.
Where do you think you learned a lot of that stuff from?
My dad, for sure, and my mom.
Yeah.
She showed me how to change a tire.
Yeah. On what? What needed a tire change? Do you remember?
My Saturn.
Yeah.
Old car. Yeah.
Dang, how old were you?
Like 20, 25.
What? You know how to change a tire yet?
No, like I would see them do it, but like me
Yeah.
actually do it, like I can do it pretty fast now.
Yeah. What about like a oil change?
Oil change?
Do you know how to do an oil change?
In theory, I do,
Yeah.
but I mean,
What other things has your dad taught you?
how to mow lawns, how to just be like do business with people, like even if they can't pay you right away, like you can still do the job and they'll pay you later, like, and just having that like customer like relationship type thing.
That trust.
How to like chop down trees, build a fire.
That's a big one, dude. Chop down trees?
Yeah, because you can get hurt really easily if you don't know what you're doing.
Or you can damage things.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have the kind of like I think you're a very humble person. I know I'm nowhere near as humble as you are, dude, but I consider myself pretty humble, and when it comes to situations like that where I'm like, no, we should probably do it this way, and they're like, nah, this is the better way, and I'm like, no, I don't want to say I've done this before, but I'm like, no, we should definitely do it this way. It's safer, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, nah, I'm usually like, all right, cool. Like, I've tried. If we're opting your way, we're opting your way. And that happened at my mom's house. Like, my mom's tree had fallen over. And I'm like, she's like, the tree fell over. I'm blocked in. I was like, are you hurt? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, let me head over. So I get my chainsaw. I go over there. I don't even think I had it at the time. I had let one out and it had gotten sold or whatever, right? So I go, I buy a new one. I get everything for it. I get there, and so cut down what I can, right? And then my brother-in-law shows up, and then the other one, like, we need to take it down. I'm like, I'm gonna cut it, but it needs to come this way. So like, we're gonna put the chain on it. He's like, I'll pull it that way with my truck. And I'm like, well, let me cut it so it'll swing this way. And he's like, nah, it'll be enough. It'll just come down. And so we do it. Then that's me, right? Like, I'm opting out. All right, let's do it your way. So he pulls it, comes down, and it damages the fence.
Oh no!
And the fence, like, to this day, is still damaged. It's like every time I go to my mom's house to see it, I'm like, man, like, even then, it's like 6 feet away from like a brick and mortar like post. So it's like, that's dangerous stuff, dude.
Yeah, trees are heavy.
They don't look heavy, dude, but they are.
they're heavy.
I've loaded a tree on the back of a trailer with that 91 Cherokee, and like on the highway, it's swinging like that because the weight is all offset. I'm like, all right, man, that's a big one, dude. I think my dad showed me how to cut down trees too, and it's no joke, dude.
It's hard work.
Even if you're by yourself, especially by yourself.
But yeah, definitely. There's something you can get employed, and then from there you can do whatever you want afterward.
Well, would you rather have someone with a degree or someone with experience?
I like experience. I think.
Over theory?
Yeah. So I'd like, like, if I was to hire someone, like, have you done this before? If not, I'd be like, okay, are you open to learning, like, things? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
stuff like that, too. I don't know why degrees are so, like, I get it if you're, like, going to manage something, like, crazy big, but I think experience is definitely up there for me.
Well, even then, if you're managing something crazy big, and this is where like I genuinely want to know, like if you're managing something that big and you have a degree, let's say you go to Harvard or something, and learn how to manage 1,000 people, and then like if you're immediately put into that role versus someone,
they won't do good.
You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it. Like even so. Because the trade school is where it's crazy because it's a trade school, but you're getting experience, and then that's what's certifying you.
Yeah.
Like let's say there's
you
a
can
trade.
get like apprenticeships and all.
Yeah, so like let's say a trade school for mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to school for mechanics trade school or whatever, you get certified at the end. Boom. So that person changing your oil has done it in practice already, basic, like, right.
Probably like hundreds of times.
Yeah. Versus someone who's saying, I just read how to change the oil right now. So who would you go to first, right?
The guy that's done it 100 times.
That's how I am, right? The guy who's been through some experience through it. And so that's kind of how I look at it too. Like, for me right now, college and like schooling is... I don't even know. I wouldn't say it's not worth it, but what college showed me is how to learn rather than like remember information and just regurgitate it and stuff. Because like we train to test in Texas, like you have your Texas history, your math, and you're learning what's on the test so you can take the test. At least that's how it is here in the United States in Texas. And when you go to college, it's like, hey, you're learning what I'm teaching you. That's what I'm going to grade you on. Rather than like how to find it. And now, we don't even know what the heck the internet is now. But if you can learn a lot of stuff from the internet.
Yep.
Like it's such a great tool. Cindy... Yeah, I know you just came in, right? And you were like, is that Cindy's school? Because it's right across the street from our house. We actually pulled her out of school this year just because...
She's starting a trade in next week, right? No,
her what? Her trade in school? She's going to be an ASC mechanic, dude. We pulled her out, but she's... Like right now, she's working on, and it's crazy because homeschooling in Texas. She's driving a truck now, dude. Now, homeschool in Texas, you don't have to do anything like on paper. The law says if you're gonna homeschool, you just literally have to say like I'm homeschooling. So you can, if they're in school, you need to go and tell them you're taking them out of school. You can't just like not take them to school anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're homeschooling, and then you're making up your own plans and stuff for them too. So you can really hurt them if you have no plans or you just have them at home not do anything. Like that's gonna hurt a child. But one of the things that she's working on too is like her penmanship, but more personal. So she's got a pen pal who's in a different state.
Cool.
And so she writes to her. So today she checked the mail. She got a letter from her, right? So another preteen sent her a letter. And she's like, oh, cool, I got a letter. And I was like, hold on. Like, this is a skill that you need to know in life, right? Where'd you get this letter from? And she's like, oh, Magic Way. And I was like, Magic Way, is that a town? Or she's like, no. And I was like, is that a country? And she's like, no. And I was like, so where is this letter from? And she's like, well, it's from my pen pal, so-and-so. She reads it off. I'm like, yeah. So what state is this from? She's like, oh, it's from Las Vegas. And I was like, is that a town or is that what state is it from? She's like, I don't know. And I was like, so before you open the letter, how about you go figure out what state this came from? She's like, okay. She takes the letter. I was like, no. Like, look on the letter right here. And I was like, you have your name, right? What's below your name? And then she reads it off. And I was like, is that the state? Is that the city? And she's like, no, it's the street. And I was like, okay, what's below that? She's like, well, that's the city. And I was like, so look at hers. That's her name, right? She's like, yeah. What's below that? She's like, their street. I was like, so what street are they on? She reads it. So we're going through the whole thing, right? And then I was like, so what's the state that she's in? She's like, NV. And I was like, all right, so what state is that? She's like, I don't know. I was like, well, you have the internet, which everybody's on now all the time. Like, go figure out what state that's from. How are you going to figure that out? And so, of course, she's like going on and researching it, right? Because when we were in school, we're never going to have you going to have a calculator in your pocket to do math? Right? And then now we literally do.
Yeah.
So, like, we have absolute endless knowledge with the internet right now. And, letting her know, like, that's more of something to learn, like knowing how to learn rather than I memorize something. Because same thing, changing a tire, doing plumbing, like it's not that you remembered how to do it, but you have experience from doing it. So if you know how to do it, you can. That's what I think. That's just my 2 cents, though. Super long-winded. I got mad at it.
Yeah. No. And it sucks too when like people you're depending on don't, like sometimes you fall behind on something and it's like, why are we falling behind? You guys are better than that. Like you can sometimes get in situations it's kind of like it's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing that's been on my mind too, man, is, and I think you're a good person because. These are like topics that I have, and I don't either. I'm going to discuss them with myself, or I'm discussing with somebody else. But, dude, so I'll let you go on a rant on this one, so I can stay quiet. Because they're questions that I have, but it does depend on so much more. So, like, I would like to go through all the scenarios on it. But should you care what people think about you?
Oh no.
No?
If it's like a professional thing.
So yes.
Well, like for me, for the longest time, especially like doing theater and like being in front of people, you're not gonna, portray the character or like give a good like your all if you're thinking about like, oh, I'm looking a little funny in my costume or this makeup makes me look weird. Like, you know what I mean? You have to commit to. I think Ms. Gable put it best. Like, shout out Ms. Gable.
Shout out Ms. G.
Let go
push the mic closer to you, man.
Let go of your inhibitions, something like that. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but the way when she said it at that moment, it clicked. I played that a lot. Yeah, I don't. For me, I don't think so. I like, being me. I don't like having to worry about or what does that guy in the next room think about me? You know, as long as you're genuine and you're, pleasant most of the time, like, you know what I mean? You don't really have.
What about your family?
My family?
Should you think about what your family thinks of you?
Is a right question. I think family's family. Like, they know you the best. So even if you're like an a-hole, they know that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like once you step out, like, I don't like kissing up to anybody. Like, you know what I mean? So if I'm making a job where I have to do that, I'm out of there. You know what I mean? Like, I like just being me. And if that means I don't, get the next position or whatever in the dumb job life,
Yeah.
then, that's fine. Like, I'd rather be myself than have to be some, like, oh, I'm perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never mess up. Like, that's not real.
Yeah. I mess up all the time, dude. I mess up all the time, every day. I get that, man. See, because my thing is, well, what about your friends? Do you care what your friends think? Or should you, not do you care what your friends think, should you care what your friends think of you?
I don't think so, but if it's like if I'm meeting like my friend's wife for the first time, I would definitely maybe downplay some of the things that I do.
Some of the jokes.
I probably wouldn't like go too far like on certain things or like start cursing right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're meeting like your spouse's like grandparents or something like that, you definitely don't.
Yeah.
So I think when it's more like family or loved ones, it plays a little bit more. But like in the job world and more like public stuff, like nah.
Yeah. See, and like, I was thinking about it the other day too, right? Because that question, when I came up with it, or I was thinking about it, like our personalities, the way we are, is made up based off of like what people think about us. Like when we start looking at it. So the way you act, like for instance around Erica, the way you treat Erica cares the way you're acting, right? Because if you were acting a different way,
she'd say, "What's wrong?"
She'd be like, "What are you doing?" And then you wouldn't be acting that way anymore. Or like one of y'all would leave, you know what I mean? And the same thing with like friends. I think even if it's subconsciously, I think we care about what our friends are thinking about us because otherwise they wouldn't be our friends, right? And I think the like Donald Trump, Joe Biden thing was a big thing too because a lot of like friendship, even like family friendships ended just because of it. So the people, like for instance, that like what people like friends, family, coworkers and stuff, when they find out you think a certain way or they find out that, hey, you said this or you said that, I think it happens even in families and circles and in business. It doesn't have to be political, but whatever, right? If you came in one day and said, like, oh man, like I hate yellow Jeeps, like I don't like them at all, like the people that have yellow Jeeps would be like, dude, like I have a yellow Jeep. And you're like, dude, I hate yellow Jeeps. You can either stay like friends, remain friends or not, right? Or you can just like end that. And I think that's where it starts to mold us because that's how we act too. Like even in theater settings, like it's a theater setting, so like everybody knows to have these expectations. But if you come in, like even if it's an improv or theater setting, you come in and you're a ghost and you're supposed to be this really super scary ghost, like exorcist ghost, and you come in and you're just like, boo. Like everybody's not gonna like it because that's not what the role. Everybody's like, busting, trying to do a lot better. And then if you're doing that, like, you can't do that in a role because everybody else is trying their hardest. So like, that they want you to do the same. Yeah. So when I was thinking about it in that aspect, because I'm of the same cuff, like, I don't care what people think of me. Like, I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. But then I started thinking deeper into that. I'm like, you know what? I think we do. Because otherwise we wouldn't run in circles. We wouldn't have separate Facebook groups. We wouldn't have like private messages where we all talk to each other. We wouldn't have sub chats, things like that. When we go to barbecues and stuff, even family barbecues. Like we're all there. I don't know about you, but I still have when I go to family barbecues, some people are missing because other people were there. So to me, I think we do care, but I don't know if it's subconscious or if it's on purpose. Because I know straight away when I asked myself that question, it was the same way. I was like, nah, I don't care what people think about me. Like, they can kiss my shoe. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think? You go deeper into it.
I think if you go deeper into it,
it's bad because I don't want to admit it, but when I see it, I'm like, you know what?
I think it's one of those things where
if we're talking about this scenario or that, like I get it, but then if we go deeper into everyday life, you can kind of see it to where, all right, not everybody does it, but like I'm not gonna just like skip a whole lane and then merge and then exit, right? Because obviously everybody's still in line, so not everybody does that, but we're all doing that because we know what's supposed to be done. So we all subconsciously care what the other person thinking. Otherwise, that person just goes and merges, whatever. Yeah. Like life hack. Like obviously that person doesn't care, but I think that's one. I think those are like scenarios that we can point out.
It's a good one. I think even too, like if we're gonna like when you pull up to get your order or something, you're just like, oh thanks or hi, or like some people like are taking the order, they don't even acknowledge you, they just give you the bag. You know what I mean? It's kind of that even makes you think, oh okay, well I tried to at least say hi. Yeah. And just got rejected.
People are just Do you think with the pandemic, dude, so much has happened since the last time you've been on too?
A lot has happened.
You got a truck now.
Yes.
How'd you get that truck?
I won it. Because of you.
I don't think it was just because of me.
It's a combination of things. I just, just doing what I got to do every day. Just working hard. You
think you work hard?
I try, man.
How many hours do you usually work?
I've been working less. Yeah? Yeah.
So you don't work as hard anymore?
I don't think, I think like when I have to work hard, I'll definitely, it's been more focused like on other things, like mental things, like not like physical things. Yeah. So it's been nice.
I think those are some big keys. Like working doesn't always have to mean like labor intensive, but like mentally and then details. There's a lot of details that go into the job too, and getting so big now. Man, Carvana's getting so big, dude.
It's huge, bro. The last meeting we had, there was like over 40 people. So
I know. I was talking to a new hire who had just came in. Their day one was the meeting, day two was the next day, and so we took her out to lunch. We're talking through everything, and I'm like, I started out as a lot attendant. When I got here, I was going to give it a few months. I was going to give it like 6 months, and then I was going to, if I couldn't get another position, because I had the bachelor's degree at the time, I was like, I just wanted to see where it's going to go. And he told me, like, we have a position open. We want you for it, but you got to find a replacement. And I was like, okay. Like, there's nobody that I want to put my name to, but I thought of you, right? So I'm like, we're the same mindset. Yeah. Like, I know this job. Like, you'd be able to handle it, no problem. And I was telling her, so I texted him. He didn't answer me. So I Facebook messaged him. He didn't answer me. I was like, all right, cool. And a couple more days went by, and I'm like looking for somebody. And I'm like, dude, I know Chris would love this role, this job. Uh-huh. And then I messaged you again, I think, on Facebook. And nothing. And then I was like, all right. And I was telling her, I was like, but I know his girlfriend. Yeah. So I messaged his girlfriend, like, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of Chris. And then Chris messaged me. He's like, yo, like, it sounds cool, but I don't think, like, I've never done that, so I don't think And I was like, dude, don't worry, man. I got you. Just come in for the interview. You're like, all right, cool. And you came in, and, like, the rest was history, dude. Yep. So I'm telling her the story, right? He's been with us for so long. Then Carvana was doing really well, so they came up with like, hey, nominate someone to be eligible for an entry to get a free car. And so I was like, okay, like you came to mind, right? You were working there, so I'm like, all right, let me throw in this nomination. And I think I procrastinated because I remember doing it in my bed, filling out the nomination, and Betty's in bed with me, like, what are you doing? Like, let's go to sleep. And I was like, I gotta fill out this nomination. So like I'm doing it, and then like 5 minutes later, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm still filling it out. Like I gotta write this thing, like. And then I hit next, and there's like more to the nomination. I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm like, 5 more minutes. And then finally, like at the end, is like, hey, do an audio bite. And I was like, are you kidding? Like an audio bite? So I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, all right, you know what? I was like, I have to go do an audio bite. And she's like, okay, go. So like, I go to the closet, dude. I'm like in the closet. I'm like, all right. I'm on my phone. I'm like, Christian Escamilla is one of the greatest. Like I'm like pouring my heart out, and then I'm like, cool. When I heard that you won the nomination, I was like, dude, that's amazing. And then like I see the video of it, and I was like, oh my gosh. They had they dubbed your whole video with my whole audio recording. I was like, all right, that's legit. That's cool.
Wow.
But like, yeah, I didn't expect that. I was hoping you'd be like in the top 3, but Carvana actually ended up giving for the year 2021, 21 cars away to its employees that were nominated. So, shout out Ms. Gable. No, shout out Carvana.
Oh man, Miss G, she's awesome.
But yeah, dude. So the nomination happened. You won. You got to pick any car on Carvana's website at the time, $20,000 or below. Taxes, title were paid for. What did you end up getting?
I got a 2017 Nissan Frontier King Cab Edition. It is great. We use it every day.
Damn.
Mow lawns in it. On the weekend, I drive it to go just wherever.
Damn.
It's freaking awesome. I love that thing.
That's what's up, dude. A free car, dude. Like a free
It's
car.
wild. It's really wild. That was like the best Christmas ever.
I've never heard of anything like that. Like I always see, like you go to HEB, you go to the market, you go somewhere. You go to the mall. There's like enter to win this car. I've never known anybody in my life to win a free car. I've never won a free car, obviously, and then I haven't even known someone to know someone to win a free car. Do you ever tell that story to anybody, or
My like relatives that visit, they're like, nice truck. And I'm like, yeah. Like, my mom was like, he won it. I was like,
gather round, gather round.
They're like, how can we win one? I was like, well, you can't.
You gotta work.
No, that truck is, I still can't believe it. Like, it's wild. Like, that whole journey, like, winning. And
Yeah.
Mark, like, he's like, go clean this Audi. And I was like, all right, I go clean it, right? And then little did I know that when they bring down the Audi, that they're going to announce that I won, like, a car.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
And that Audi too was under 20,000 if you wanted to pick that one too. Because he was like very adamant. He's like, I want him to like watch a car or whatever car we vend, I want it to be in the price point. And so I was like, dude, this is a pretty nice Audi, man. And I was like, how much is it? And he was like, it's like 18.5 or something. I was like, dang. So like we knew you were gonna have a plethora to pick from. Were there like 30,000 vehicles at the time? 23. Yeah, we're on track, man. We're on track this year.
Ever since like I started, like it's been fun. It's like every day's like fun, no matter what. Like
Yeah,
it's a fun job.
it's been great.
It's cool. Like when you come visit, it's like, oh shit, Brian's here.
Yeah.
You know, we get to catch up and then just do things together as like like as our roles. It's pretty.
I
awesome.
know, man. I feel that way because you never, like as kids, you never know what you're gonna do growing up. I tell people, like with my job too, like I like guns, like I like firearms, but never would I think I'd be working with firearms as a job. And I was like, it's the same way with cars. I really like cars, but never in my life like I thought I'd be able to like go in and be around so many different cars, seeing all the features. Like every day you get another car. You get Teslas that come in, like going up to a Tesla and being like, dude, this is like, I can't even recall how many Teslas I've been in, but like it's still cool to be in one. And like that's cool to me.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, you know what I mean?
Even being like in a nice big truck or getting a,
like the AT4s,
Yep.
the G. What are those new the Gladiators? And then like even when we like need to use a truck for like a wholesale or something, and we need to use it for like a giant event.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we need to pick up 500 pounds of sandbags. Like, whoa, we got a wholesale truck back there because it's not gonna fit in the Prius. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's incredible. I think being someone just messaged me the other day about the job, and I think it was Oscar. Shout out Oscar. He was like, man, you're getting a lot of like recognition stuff from your work. And I was like, dude, this is the place where if you're self-driven, like no one's going to stop you.
Yep.
And you don't see that in like corporate America.
You never see that anywhere.
Where you get to build up your procedures and policies. Or if there's some procedures.
Or change stuff too.
Yeah. Change it.
I would change the whole keyboard at work because, after like a couple weeks of looking at it, all right, well, this is the best way. And we taught like people too, like during the meeting, like, okay, well, if you want your car clean, you better make sure it's in the going out today, because if it's not, then there's a chance that it can fall through. Yeah,
man. I don't know, brother. I don't know, man. How do you feel with the pandemic and everything? Like,
oh man, the pandemic sucks.
Yeah. It's kept everybody indoors.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely not going out as much. I'm just trying to stay home, find stuff to do at home.
Yeah.
So a good thing we have something like this.
I know, man. It's a good outlet. Like when you first came over, we did that first one. There was no video in it, and it was the first podcast that I did. So, like, this room wasn't even the way this room is.
Yeah,
there's boxes everywhere. I don't even think I had chairs. Like, you had to bring your own chair because I didn't have a chair in here. We just moved here. Like, it was pathetic. It was sad, man. I didn't have any lights.
Come on.
Yeah, but still, that was already like 2 years after. That was probably a year and a half after I wanted to start a podcast and just like talk to, because we have talks and conversations every day with people, but I want to make sure like we can keep those and like keep them in stone in a sense. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna get older, we're gonna die, but we just
there's you'll have days where you just want to put something on, either while you're driving or just trying to go to sleep, and it'd be nice to hear your voice again.
Yeah,
and just us talking about whatever.
You don't know, man. You're here one day and then
you're
just gone the next. So I think for me too, it'll be a good log for my kids, because in a point in time, to see like written words are one thing, but then like having your father's voice or knowing how they are as a person or how they thought, I think is good too. So if something ever happened to me, as dark as it sounds, something ever happened to me, like at least they would have that of me. Be like, dude, I don't know.
Instead of just like a photo.
Yeah. My dad said that he liked cars. I don't know. So I don't know. But I would like to leave them with more than just, that. Like the memories and experiences, what I want them to stay with. And then you can't always just sit down with like a 3-year-old or a 12-year-old and tell them like, hey, this is how I view the world. You know what I mean? So like as they get older is when you try to experience it. My dad was like, do you remember How to Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah.
Atticus Finch, like the way he talked to his kids and the way they like went back and forth. Like that's the way I would like to be to my children. But my children are also children. So like I can be talking to Asher and he can look at me and understand like, oh, this is what he's saying. And I was like, all right, so do you understand why you can't do that? He's like, Pokemon. I'm like, all right, so you don't. So I think stuff like that though, but the best way you're gonna do that is like you said with you and your being an uncle. Like is being there, being present for them. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. The way everything's going, I feel sad because I feel like the pandemic became political, and I don't even know how or why.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
And I think a lot of people now, if you say something or if you think something, you're either on one side of the fence or the other.
They immediately just shut you up.
And there's nobody that's looking at anything anymore, like objectively. And it makes me kind of sad. It makes me really sad because I feel like I can talk to anybody, like whether you're a Donald Trump supporter, whether you're a Nazi supporter, whether you're straight up like peace lover, Woodstock, like whatever the realm, like, and I like say that like truthfully, like if you were a Nazi, like I wanna know how like you're thinking, like I want to see how you think, like all the way around, because I feel like that's the only way to get knowledge, rather than just saying like, no, that's a Nazi symbol, blah blah blah, or like, no, that's a Donald Trump sticker, blah blah blah, that's a liberal sticker, blah blah blah. Like, why can't we just be people?
Yeah,
they're talking. You know what I mean? My big thing is, if there's a piece of trash in your neighborhood, if Ronald Reagan's in office, or Donald Trump's in office, or Joe Biden's in office, or Hillary Clinton's in office, whoever's in office, is that going to change how that piece of paper gets picked up? I feel like it's not. I feel like the only way that paper is going to get picked up is if you pick it up yourself. And that's something like I tell Cindy like weekly, if not daily.
Yeah.
And we've even gone like around the neighborhood picking up trash. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter who we put into office. It's mayor, president, governor. Like what's in front of you is only going to be changed by like you and your community. Like how do you change your community? Like be a part of your community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But trying to lighten the mood, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like how you said, like why can't we just be people? Like I do improv with like a guy. He's like real, conservative. Like every time we do improv, like scenes, that never comes up, and I'm still able to have like an awesome, relationship with the guy, joking around, and we never go into like politics, and I think that's cool. You know what I mean? You can still have friends that view a certain way for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't have to be human to them.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to like, will we care if people think about us or not? You know what I mean? Like if you view something this way or that way, like you can still be human. Yeah. It's like I think that's the best way to put it too, man. You got anything coming up in the future?
In October, we're supposed to be doing a Saturday Night Live 3D.
3D?
Yeah.
What?
Because everything's been on Zoom.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing is like 3D is like in person. So I have a little part in there. I'm doing my segment between two urns. So I'll be interviewing a person in front of an audience. I'll have my urns there. Yeah. Be a wacky interview with whoever's there. In the other seat, probably like another improviser. Yeah. And yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's supposed to be Studio 185, which is on Starcrest Drive. Sometime in October.
Starcrest. How far down Starcrest?
It's like
410 Starcrest?
It's by the airport for sure. It's like right next
to. Okay. Yeah, I've seen a couple of the Saturday Night Lives.
They're
see me log on. Yeah.
They're funny.
I'd like to interview a couple of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to, definitely send them your way.
Yeah. I don't know if they'd like it.
They're all dads.
Yeah? Yeah. I don't know.
So you guys already got that.
They might have that in common, dude. Yeah. No, that'd be cool. Yeah, I've seen them on there. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's cool because it's another thing too. I've never had friends that are like older than me. Like 40, something like that. So this pandemic's definitely helped me like branch out and like, have friends that are like way older than me. Yeah.
We get stuck in that mindset growing up.
Yeah, we do.
Like your age group, your grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's your oldest friend? How old is he? 105.
48.
48?
Yeah.
It's not old.
No,
it's young.
It's not old.
What's your youngest friend's age?
Like 23. 24.
Yeah. Damn. 23 to 48. It's a big gap. I think it's weird making friends like as an adult though.
It is.
You know what I mean? And just be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I think it's good though. I think doing that is good though. Mm-hmm. Like seeing different people, talking to different people, going out with different people. They're not the same age or not the same like group that you've been hanging out with, because it also doesn't keep your mind locked up into like, this is how I should think. Like my set group of friends is how I should be thinking. And if we all think this, like we should all keep thinking this, right? That's what I think. Because I like people who challenge you on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Why do you think that? Oh, you think Donald Trump's the best president in the world? Like, why do you think that? Like, okay. Oh, you don't like Kamala Harris? Like, why don't you like Kamala Harris? And then nobody ever... 10 times out of 10, like, they're not going to give you, legitimate reason. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, so, yeah, that's not a real reason. Like, not a political reason. Like, okay. She didn't like the color suit he wore. Like, get out of here. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Obama? Obama wore, like, a beige... Oh my gosh, yeah. That's how I'm usually like that with Cindy. That's another reason we pulled her out of school because everybody's so tense and heightened, either like pro-conservative or pro-liberal, and like the adults are telling my 12-year-old child this, and I'm all for like protecting your child, do what you can for your child, but nobody should be screaming or talking to a child in that kind of manner. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've been talked at like that from adults and from like librarians at South San when I was like junior, senior. I felt super disrespected, and I was definitely like right to feel that way. And to have my daughter being talked to like that, like it's just no. Yeah. Because somebody feels so. Like, I don't care which way you are, but the way you're talking to my child like that, like, no. Like, both sides, I don't think, have any good information, or if you're not even looking at something objectively, like, don't be trying to talk to, like, a child like that. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, you know what I mean? So, I think that's another good one, too, because that's not right. I had a teacher, like, just not want me in her class at all because of like a paper that I had written, and I was like, okay, like, well, I guess I'll get out. So I had to go to Mr. Chavez's class when he was us there. Who's your favorite teacher in high school? Can't be Miss Gable, because that's my pick. So too bad. Miss Lemonnier.
There were some really cool ones. I thought the science teachers were really cool. Yeah. Because they're just... Science is like magic, you know what I mean? Once they show you how to do something real quick, you're like, oh, shit. It's fun. Runner up? No, I'm just kidding.
In second place. Who you got?
It's hard not to be
Miss Walden.
Walden was cool, man.
Yeah,
she was real cool.
That was definitely one of the best principals.
She would support everything at the school. That was
y'all got it. Yeah, that's what y'all need. Y'all got it. He's like, all right, thanks for Walden.
Yeah, she was really down to earth. Oh man.
They opened the schools back up, right? So Sam.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're requiring masks.
I think now they are.
Are they?
I mean, I don't know. It's like from whatever funneled into my head from...
Last I saw, they weren't. There was 3 schools in San Antonio that weren't. South San was one of them. I was like, what? It's bizarre, dude.
I couldn't even imagine how it would be to go to South San right now.
The pandemic's going on, but then there's also a lot of traffic. I liked it when there was the pandemic going on. There was no traffic. That was the best time to be alive, man.
No traffic.
Other than that, man, what else you got going?
Not that I took a little break from like podcasting or doing anything funny, so this is cool.
You took a little break?
Yeah.
You're like taking a break? Or?
Yeah, like I haven't done anything. I just been like focusing like on family for a little bit.
When do you think you're going to come back off break?
I have to film something this Friday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For what? For your
it's
podcast?
Like a little, no, it's for my 4 dads. They're doing a thing.
Oh, okay.
They're going to play my clip. I can't talk about it. I signed an NDA.
They're gonna come after you.
Nah, it's gonna be fun. Those guys are fun, man.
YouTube takes down the video.
But I don't know. I've been trying to hit up Ram.
Yeah.
Get his brain going again, and he's he's busy with like family and stuff. But we always have a group chat, and he's always sending me some hilarious stuff. So.
Dude, Ram's got it going on, man. He's got a lot of stuff going.
Yeah, he does. He's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
No,
One of the best.
not much. Trying to do some more drawing.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of your drawings
Haven't really
lately.
been drawing.
What's up with that, man?
I don't know. I definitely got to do some more practice.
What do you like drawing?
I like using pens, so whatever. I like drawing people, octopuses,
Octopuses?
monsters.
Isn't that a thing? Octopuses on... there's a movie that just came out where he was like, our thing is octopuses. I don't remember what video it was. Do you ever draw for Erica? Or she don't
just
like drawing?
Graffiti her name or something like a graffiti style. Just draw her name.
On like the side of the highway? Like, what is that? Like,
It's like on a piece of paper or something, her notebook or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely need to draw some more. I don't know. It's been pretty chill this month, so
Yeah. I don't know why, but this year felt like it's flying by.
it's going by pretty quick.
Like, flying by. 2020 took forever to get over with. Felt like we were just watching a clock. But
Yeah.
no, this has been a good year, man. Like, even that meeting we just had,
Yeah.
that was man, it sucks not being able to, like, participate in the competitions. But, dude, which team were you in? Oh,
I
did
had
you
to leave
compete?
for a little bit, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That competition got so competitive. We had two of us were timing it. And so the competition, we had 6 teams of 5 to 6 people. And first one was paperwork. You had to put steps in order for an accident procedure. And then after it's confirmed, next they would go strap a vehicle down, all 4 tires. The next person, they would tag out every time. So the next person would have to go through a car, search the car for cleanliness stickies. After they searched them and found them, they would go back and unstrap. After they unstrapped all 4 tires and secured it, they would go back and have to put a trade packet back in order.
Wow.
And then that ended time, right? And then, after that, you would have to set up triangles, safety triangles that don't blow over. And then you do the trade packet paperwork in order. And the trade paperwork is probably like maybe 10, 15 pages. And so there was a leader on each team. And so when my team's like finished and I was like, all right, you're done. I lapped it, so I have the time, right? And then 3 other teams at the same time were like, oh, we won, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what time did y'all get? And they're like, well, we didn't have a timestamp. And I was like, all right, like, then this team over here is runner-up. And everybody's, like, around, like, oh, man, like, you know, we won too. And so by the time we quiet the whole crowd down, because there's, like, 40 people there, we get everybody moved out. And I was talking to Ryan. I was like, there's only one way to sell this, man. A strap off. And he's like, we doing a strap off? And I was like, we're doing a strap off, man. And Ryan's like, I don't know. We want to see who's going to be the real winner. We should do a strap on. I was like, no, Ryan. It's going to be a strap off. He's like, all right. So he turns around. He goes, we're doing a strap off. And so he shouts. So, dude, we're like, hey, 4 teams. Y'all pick one person. Hand on the bumper. When we say go, you strap all 4 tires down. Just strap them down. Hand on the bumper again. That ends your time. So we're like, all right, go. Boom, dude. Like, the race is on. I was overseeing Robert's team. So Robert was the one strapping. He straps 1, 2, 3 on his 4th one. When he starts ratcheting it down, it comes out of the hook and it just keeps crawling. And I'm like, oh, man, like, you lost. Like, that's it. And so he does it again, right? And at that time, Kendall already won. Like, boom, he's done. He got his time. He's first place. I was like, 2nd and 3rd place is still up for grabs because there's 4. Mm-hmm. And so he's doing it again. It comes out again, dude. And he's like ratcheting down. I was like, nope. And then 2nd, 3rd. And then Robert's like right at the end, straps it. And I'm like, man, like, he got 209 or 2 something, right? Kendall, I was like, Kendall, what time did you get? Because he got the fastest time. So I got 138. And I was like, all right, cool. Because when we won for the company-wide one, my time was 138. So I was like, so we're good. And Whitney's like, yeah, he's why don't we do a competition with a leadership team to see who can strap the fastest? So I was like, whoo! I was like, say it again. I'll go strap. Like, bring it on, man. But man, it was crazy, man. Seeing like 40, like Daquan's jumping around, like, let's go. And I was like, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, the important events like that are important too, because like all the team being together, you can't beat that.
I think a lot of what we see now too is, especially in like the age culture now, is that companies don't want to take care of people. That's where I think Carvana is.
Yeah, you see, even if you go drive by that McDonald's, now they're saying, "Oh, if you join us, you get $500, every 40 hours or something like that." Like,
yeah,
it's crazy how many companies are trying to but they should have been doing that since the beginning.
Yeah, and now now they're trying to like entice people and bring them in. Like, get out of here, man. Like, you got managers who don't care. You got your staff that doesn't care. That too is hard because I see that all the time through the timeline. People posting like, "Hey, like you work 40 hours, or I put in so much time. I never request a day off." And then when something happens, the way my bosses don't take care of me, I'm like, it's not how it is here, like at all. The funny thing is here, like we took just the lot attendants out to go race at Andretti's. You know what I mean? And Saquon cracks me up, man, because he's, oh, man, that guy. He's like, man, this job, man, where else? He's always like, where else your job going to take care of like that?
He's from a rough place. He's telling me, like, New York, it's wild out there.
Yeah. That's what he said, too. He was like, especially here, like, he's like, you wouldn't find this in New York. I'm like, man, we're Carvana's in New York, though. Like, we just got to find us there. I don't think we're downtown, but, like, we're in New York State. But it's amazing, man. Like, as much as Carvana cares and they look to put people in those positions too, I think it goes a long ways too. And I tell people that are asking for jobs and stuff, I'm like, hey, if you wanted like great place to work, like this is where it is. But regardless, you have to work though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we'll still have people like, we'll do all these events, we'll allow all this, and then people still like don't show up or all that, and it's like, all we need is just communication, guys. Like, communication, set expectations both ways, and, like, it's a rock-solid work environment. I don't know where else, because I've worked in some places, and it's not like this, man.
It's cool feeling like now, like feeling like the OG, like, older, you know what I mean?
You are OG,
weird,
man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Like, stuff that you think is simple,
yeah,
like, somebody doesn't know.
So it's cool helping the new people too.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean I need to put this piece of paper in the dashboard? Mm-hmm. Like, what? What do you mean I have to take off license plates?
Yeah.
Why can't I park this in nose in first? Like, simple things like that, yeah. I don't know, man. It's a crazy world. You got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is I'm glad we've maintained this awesome friendship throughout the years. I'm glad we worked together. I'm glad, I don't know. This is fun. This is awesome. A good time.
Good time. Thanks for listening to the OK Dad podcast. We'll cut it there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't mess with that. Okay, here.
Hello.
Oh.
Do it right.
Yeah, we don't
Do it right.
I don't know where you got all that from. I've never said that.
What are you listening to, Asher?
That podcast.